be seen. I'm
Nice intro. Pretty sick. I love it.
Nice.
Great show, guys. Great intro. Welcome to the Final Wilson amazing show where we talk anything, everything Alabama recruiting, football, insights, analysis. We do it all. We roast other teams. So hit that like, subscribe button. I'm here with my Avengers, the Crimson Avengers, my brothers from a different mother. You see, we got different types of backgrounds. We're upgrading around here on the Final Wilson, guys. So hit that like, subscribe button. That way we can continue to use different toys and trinkets for you guys. So let me start with our main man, the guy who handles everything for the show. He's analysis, defensive analysis. He does it all. IT. The man is, list goes on and on. My main man, my brother, Lucian Graves. How are you, sir?
Whoo, Matt. I'm excited for tonight. We got a lot to get into. I got my boys here, the Avengers. We're short a couple, but we're still going to get it done. Roll daggum tide, ladies and gentlemen.
Roll daggum tide, and the man, the myth, the legend, the double agent, the spy. You never see him and Lane Kiffin in the same room at the same time. The one and only Daniel Petty, a.k.a. Daniel Fishwater. How are you, sir?
Man, living the good life. Glad to be here with you fellas on this Tuesday night. Quick shout out. My oldest turns 20 tomorrow, so happy birthday, SK.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Speaking of birthdays, shouts out to Dan, our lead recruiting analyst. He's got a grandbaby that's here, so kudos.
Grandbaby, yeah, granddaddy.
Yeah, he be the daddy.
This is your grandbaby.
And speaking of kids, grandkids, great-grandkids,
I got no grandkids yet, man.
I'm just messing with you.
That you know.
Yeah, that you know of. The one and only Chris James. How are you, sir?
What's up, man? Just ready to get into it, man. I like these topics tonight. We're gonna eat them up.
Eat them up. Eat them up. That's what I was gonna make a joke, but I'm gonna keep it PG for right now. Listen, guys. Speaking of, if you have, hope everybody had a good 4th of July, popping fireworks, family over, grilling, doing good, friends over, had a good time. But if you're like, Daniel Petty or Dan James, who are going to have family over functions and they want to have a really magnificent, pristine yard, go to realrockstone.com and upgrade your yard with the amazing, beautiful, pristine stones at realrockstone.com. Petty, tell us more about this amazing company.
That's right. Lambstone Company, located in Aniana, Alabama. If you've dreamed of having that beautiful natural stone in or around your home, well, waste no more time. Check them out today at realrockstone.com. That's Lambstone Company, Aniana, one of the oldest, most trusted sources in the state. Tell them we sent you using the promo code The Final Whistle, and you'll receive 10% off your purchase today at Lambstone. Check them out after the show, of course, realrockstone.com.
realrockstone.com and get your stone needs. So, guys, how's it been? It's been an eventful couple of days for Alabama fans. I think we've been riding high, but let's get back to the football season. I think we're definitely less than 90 days. I think 8 more Saturdays away from us kicking off football against Tallahassee. But, guys, let's get
like 54 days.
54 days?
Think so.
54 days, guys. Guys going to be, August when camp starts and all that good stuff. So it's going to be some good news. And, guys, don't worry. We're going to talk about recruiting. But we want to talk about the 2025 football season and address the need that we don't think a lot of people are really talking about it. But that's what we do here at the Final Wilson. We want to talk about Alabama's punt returner. Who do you think could be Alabama's punt return king? You know, it was DeBoer's year, first year last year. We had Cole Adams, we had Ron Williams, we had Mbakwe. I want to get you guys' take on this topic. And who would like to go first on this topic? Is it Chris? Chris, we'll let you go first, too. We'll go Chris Petty, Lou, and Lou in the South.
Well, we've had some great returns throughout the years. The first bag I can remember is David Palmer, the Deuce. He was the most electrifying. Then we had a guy named Tyrone Prothro, who was very underrated and unfortunately had a career-ending injury far too soon. Some people will say Javier Arenas, but I'm going off the radar, guys. My favorite was Eddie Jackson because it seemed like every time he touched the ball, he made a play happen, whether it was an interception, a punt return. No matter when he touched the ball, it was going back for 6. So I just think that I really believe if he would have never got hurt in 2016, not only would we have beaten Clemson and won the national
championship.
Yes, I think he may have been a Heisman finalist with the type of season that he had. He would have been the first since Charles Woodson at the time, defensive Heisman finalist because he had pick sixes, he had punt returns, and I really believe he was going to be in New York on his way to New York that year before he got hurt. So I'm going with Eddie Jackson.
Eddie Jackson, that's a good one. Sorry guys, I messed up on the whole topic, but we're doing punt return kings. I'm already focused on this year's season. So guys, Patty, give us your take on who you think Alabama's all-time punt return king.
Well, man, I kind of cheated because I talked to Lou for about an hour today and, man, got full of stats. I think I'm going to let Lou give the right answer because if you base it off the new era of punting, opportunities versus value, I don't think there's a debate. And I'm going to let Lou in that debate because he gave me the answer and it wouldn't be fair to take it. So I'm going to go. I mean, Javier Arenas had the most yards. So if you're going to go off who did the most damage, it's no doubt Javi, right? But I got to go back. My man Chris said the words right out of the gate. I'm going with Deuce, man. One of my favorite players of all time is Deuce McAllister at Ole Miss. He played for Ole Miss. His name was Deuce. He went by Deuce because nobody could say his name. He went by Deuce because his hero was Deuce Palmer. Palmer was the man. He was a freaking legend before. And it was in an era where, I don't know, everybody knew when David was going to get the ball, something electric was going to happen, and he was just that guy. He was, one of the bigger legends that Smoke said something earlier tonight that kind of got me. It seems like the Saban era has made us forget about a lot of the guys before. And don't forget, Bama's a dynasty without, the Saban era of the dynasty too. So I'm going to give my flowers to the guy that I remember first being so damn electric, and that's David Palmer.
David Palmer. We got Eddie Jackson, David Palmer. Interesting to get Lou's take on this subject.
Oh, man, Alabama has had some legendary punt returners. I'm going to mention a few, and then I'm going to give my answer that weren't mentioned. Christian Jones. That dude was an electric guy. Every time he touched the ball, punt return, kick return, whether he was catching the ball, that dude was electric. Also got to give a shout-out to Marquise Mays. That dude was a hell of a punt returner, too. And to round it off, Cyrus Jones. Cyrus Jones may have had one of the best runs in Alabama football history in his senior season. That dude was electric, had over 530 yards punting return. That's just impressive in itself. But my answer, it's got to be Jaylen Waddle, because everybody else that we've mentioned tonight received at least 26 more punts in their career than Jaylen Waddle did. Hell, Jaylen Waddle received as many punts as he did his whole career. Most of these guys are getting more than that in one season. So the fact that he had averaged 19 yards a return, every return he was getting at least 20 yards. There's no other returner in Alabama football history was close to that. So it's Jaylen Waddle, because every time he touched the ball, he was getting you 20. And that's what you want when you're getting a punt returner. You want him to get yards. Yeah, you want that explosive stuff, but the fact that he averaged 20 yards every time he touched the ball, that's moving the field, and that's field position. And not only does that relate to the success of the team, because every time Alabama had at least 500 total yards in punt return, we either played for or won a damn national title. And during those seasons, our defense recorded at least 45 sacks. So there's a correlation to our defense not only getting the quarterback on the ground, but getting off the field to give our guys a chance to even return the football. And I think that's something that Alabama's been missing, is not only getting the punts and getting them returned, but getting off the field and getting an opportunity to receive the punts. So there's a lot that goes into that. I know I just threw a lot of numbers out at you, but Jaylen Waddle's got to be the return king. And plus, that dude was just scary for what he did to people. I mean, and everybody knew it was going to happen, but you couldn't stop it. You couldn't stop it. Jaylen Waddle, Matt.
I like it.
And they tell you that with a punt return, you know, Matt it was a returner too. He can tell you about this. They tell you they want you to at least get 10 yards the first down. At least get 10 yards on and for him to say Waddle got 20, that's flipping the field, man. So if you backed up, if he's catching it inside the 10 in which you never want him to, he's bringing it out past the 20 every time.
Easily.
Good stuff, Lou.
Great stuff. Jaylen Waddle, I think, you know.
That's the answer.
Waddle, Palmer, I'm sorry. I love all these answers, so it's so hard for me to pick. It's like 4 or 5 guys. I'm pulling out a Chris James right now. Got my receipt.
There's one I'm waiting. There's an honorable mention that deserves.
Freddie Millins, man.
Freddie Millins deserves to be talked about more.
His footwork is just. Freddie's always going to be up there. Okay, here are my 5. Oh well,
I'm
4.
surprised you didn't mention him, Chris.
I gotta put Javier up there. Javier Arenas played with the guy. He could do so much damage on a punt return. Javi, David Palmer, Waddle, 1-5, Freddie Millins, and who? Golly,
gotta be Eddie, dog.
Eddie Jackson and Cyrus Jones were like, but Eddie was such a game changer. So I don't know.
Game changer, dog.
Chad, let me know who I'm missing out.
I just think Eddie was the best with the ball in his hands. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it's an interception or anytime he got the ball in his hands, he was gonna.
You're right.
Find a way to bring it back for six.
Again, I think Waddle. I think it's Waddle and everybody else as far as that.
Waddle did that all game long.
Well, and again, you're going against the Australian punt, so you're the coverage is on you a little quicker. You don't get as many.
That's another thing. The punting is better now. So the fact that Jaylen Waddle only received 20 punts his best year and he averaged 24 yards of return, that shit is scary. That shit is scary.
Yeah, it's crazy because they were making him fat catch.
Right. And not to mention, how many times did he get face mask turned around every which way and he still brought it all the way across the field and ran it all the way up the damn sideline.
They didn't even call it LSU.
Nah. He's like, all right, I guess I'm just going to get 7 the easy way.
And just to show you how dynamic Waddle was.
The Auburn game, 2019.
Oh, my gosh. But not only that, we ended up winning a national championship without him after he got injured. And he still went first round. He still went like top 10 pick.
But he came back and played, remember? Because he had made a play in the
national championship. He had like 2 or 3 catches, but still, he was like, that just shows you how dynamic of a player he was.
But if he doesn't get hurt, we're talking about if somebody doesn't get hurt, Chris, if Jaylen Waddle doesn't get hurt that year, could you imagine what him and Smitty would have done to college football?
Smitty might not have won a Heisman that year.
Oh, he definitely wouldn't have won the Heisman if Waddle was healthy.
It probably would have been Mac Jones.
Yeah, Mac would have got
it would have been Mac Jones because Mac would have had like 5,000 yards passing.
Yeah.
Like
you'd have got tired because they talk about Joe Burrow. I'm like, shit, you give Mac. Joe Burrow had Jamar Chase. The 2 best receivers in the league right now. Jefferson. And the receivers he had at LSU is better than the core he has now with the Bengals.
Yeah. Real talk.
And who was the
But
third
then
guy?
again, so was Tua's.
Yeah, well, you're right.
Tua had Judy, Smith, Waddle, and Ruggs.
And one we did. What about Brandon
And
Brooks?
Ridley.
He didn't have Waddle.
He had
and
Ridley at
at the same
17.
time.
Yeah, Waddle came the year after. Waddle was the one that replaced Ridley the very next year.
I'll give y'all a sleeper. Brandon Brooks.
Lil B was tough.
The B was tough.
I think he was better kickoff return guy.
Yeah, he was more of a kickoff guy.
He was on
Yes,
the room specialist, but he's just a name that, man, I kind of forget about in the.
B was tough, man. B was our return guy. Who was our return after Freddie? Matt. After Freddie it went to B, didn't it?
Sam Collins?
No, AC. The AC got kind of got banged up, had that leg injury. It was Tree. Tree returned 1 year, I think.
My David Palmer.
Deuce and Waddle, man. It gotta be
him and Waddle for me. Him, Waddle, and 1-5
Freddie was different.
was just different.
See, the thing about Javi and David is Javi had 125 career punt returns. David Palmer had 83 career punt returns, and Jaylen Waddle had 38.
How many Freddie Millens had when you look it up? Whenever you look it up, find out how many Freddie Millens had.
Oh, it's tough going back a certain.
I
had trouble. That's why I had to cut it at 90. I had trouble getting Palmer's stats.
I got you.
I was working at Baumhauer's that year when y'all went out to UCLA, and Freddie, I'll never forget. Freddie
opening punt return of the year.
Opening punt return took it to the house. And Baumhauer's at that time, if you don't know, on game day, you knew as a waiter the 3 tables you had for the next 4 hours. They were sitting there drinking and watching the game. So it was like a big tailgate, and it was kind of one of the funner days to work. And I remember Millens took that to the house on all 47 TVs, and the place erupted. And you just heard, national title, baby, it's coming. We're going to win it all this year. And then about 3 hours later, I was like, am I going to get it?
Freddie returned 99 and 2000 and 01.
I'm old, man. Man. I was in college. Well, I was in college for about a decade, and that decade started in 98 to 05.
Freddie Millens coming out of high school. I don't want him and Peter Ward were like they were my idols.
You know the thing about Pete? Pete wasn't even known for his speed. Laverius
Coles had the speed.
Was a fast one. But Pete wasn't but like a 4.5, 4.6.
But his footwork was just
Freddie. If Freddie wouldn't have come out of somewhere like Starkville, one of those small schools in Mississippi, he'd have been such a. But I mean, again, he ended up at Alabama. He's close, but Freddie was different.
Yeah, 43, Chris.
It's all guy. He had at least
he had 29, and then it went down from there. In 99, he had 29 for 282 and a tutty.
That was in the SEC championship.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had a tutty in 2000.
Open it.
Yeah.
This is a great topic.
Bama's had that's one, man. You know, there's in the history of Bama. We've done this. We've gone through every position, Mount Rushmore, but that is an unsung position where Bama's been one of the better programs in the history of the sport. Is in the special teams. Again, is why they win so much. But like you said, man, it's a good topic. There's been some dynamic punt returners at Alabama.
Everybody I mentioned on that list has a national championship ring. There may be a correlation.
There you go.
There may be a correlation.
Hey,
when you have a special teams that's getting 500 total yards a season, think about that. That's just in punt return. That's some scary shit.
You know what I think? I think this year, it's going. Even though Cole Adams was a guy last year, I think he's gonna come down to 2 guys for punt return this year, and I think it's gonna be Mbakwe or just to get him on the field, Mbakwe or Brooks. I think it's gonna be one of those 2. That's what I think it's gonna end up being.
Brooks, he has that Jaylen Waddle.
Brooks is man, but he's faster.
Brooks is going. I feel like Brooks is going to find his way on the field and just be like give somebody a blow and just score that way. I think they're going to give it to more. I'd like to see someone that's just shifty, like what's his name? Kevin
Riley.
running back. Yeah, Kevin Riley. I'd like to see someone like him, or someone we're not risking. Not saying we'd be risking Brooks, but I'm comfortable with Bakwe because we got depth at receiver. I don't want to see us returning our best player or our best safety.
Obviously, is the answer to be the best one.
When was the last time we had a running back returning punts?
Was it Lowe? Was it that was kickoff? Jonathan Lowe. You remember when we went back with your time, Matt?
Josh Jacobs. Damian Harris doing kickoffs and Trent Richardson.
Josh Jacobs.
And Jacobs.
Jacobs did punt.
They did kickoff. No, Jacobs did punt.
He did a couple punt returns.
Was Drake? Drake did punt. Did Drake do punts?
Who?
Kenyon Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drake did it.
Drake did punts, didn't he?
Yeah, I think Drake maybe I think
the last one that really. Yeah, Drake was just
honorable mention. Bobby Humphrey. Bobby Humphrey did return kicks and punts at Alabama.
Wow. Isn't punting how Drake got his leg broke?
I thought it was a kickoff.
Punt return. It was a kick return or a punt return.
It was Ole Miss at
Ole Miss. It was against Ole Miss in a kickoff.
Yeah,
it was a kickoff.
It was a kickoff.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it.
I won't either.
But for him to come back with a year later with the storybook ending that he did in that kickoff return against Clemson, that was things legends are made of, man. That was crazy.
Crazy. Yeah, I think the saddest that Kenyon Drake injury was really sad.
Pro Throw was sad.
Pro Throw, of course. But when
Eddie Jackson.
When Eddie went down, I was so hurt. I was like, I hope it's not nothing serious.
And it was on the punt return. Eddie got hurt on the punt
return. And I was like, dang. And then
that's why
when Waddle went down, I was like, oh my gosh.
And that's why I think you won't ever see Ryan Williams on a punt return unless it's one of those games where you just gotta have it.
Nah, we don't need it.
Cause Smitty return punts.
But we didn't have anybody else. This team's got plenty of people. And Chris, I haven't looked it up, but I'm actually kind of curious. I wouldn't even be so as comfortable as to see. Let's see what Jalen Washington's got back there, because he's a senior. If he's done it before, give it to him. I mean, he's big. If you hit that dude at full speed, you're probably going to get knocked the F out because he's about 220. The dude looks yoked, and you're not risking depth anywhere. And he could possibly break one because he does have game breaking speed.
Let me see Big Daniel Hill back there.
I want to see Bubba Hampton. I want to see what he got.
Yes, I want.
I've heard that name.
I keep forgetting about the kid, man.
Area Bubba Hampton would be one of my choices for punt return too. If his leg's good, definitely put him back there.
Yeah,
for sure.
And this is, I think this is one of his make or break a year in Clemson, because I think that if I keep forgetting about that dude, dog. I don't know how.
Well, it's how people forgot about Jalen Hale last year when he's hurt. When you get hurt, Bama doesn't wait on you to get back. It's next man up, and that next man sometimes might be a Jaylen Waddle, or in this case, a Latair Brooks. You know, it's somebody that.
You're right, Lou. Think about it when DeAndrew, what was it, DeAndrew White that went down, Matt?
Yep, DeAndrew White.
And then it was Amari Cooper. And then when Robert Foster went down, it was Calvin Ridley.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get hurt, man.
Yeah, because
not when those dudes are sitting there waiting to play.
Nah, especially not in this type of offense, because we're gonna move the football.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a lot like that.
Bama is one of those schools you can't afford to get hurt. You can't afford to get injured.
Yeah, because realistically, our kicker could get hurt, and we're gonna go get another kicker. You know what I'm saying? Like
we just not started talking good about kickers about 10 years ago, because boy, we had a rough run, y'all.
Hey, let's not talk about the
Don't bring back.
I still don't even watch games where he kicked because I got issues.
Hey, but y'all know I always be thankful for Papanostos for. Because
what's funny is fans think they get upset about kickers missing, and they just don't realize until AJ told everybody. Apparently, the team does too, because y'all will straight up shit in the dude's shoe.
Oh yeah, it was bad. Hey, when Papanostos missed the one to win the championship against Georgia, but think about it, that created the legend of Tua. when he missed.
But we didn't even have to go that far. We could have just won the
Yeah,
game.
why go? That's great.
Because it's another dagger in those Mutt's heart. 2nd and 26.
Did that was that more Tua's legend? Because I felt like that was more the start of Devontae Smith's.
Oh no, it's Tua.
It was Tua because Tua came.
Halftime.
Yeah, that's Tua.
But
I mean,
the start of Devontae Smith was the week before against Mississippi State.
And here's the other thing, Lou. The reason more Tua is because the play before would have smashed the brain of most mortal kids out there in the national championship at his age.
Overtime.
And they would have gotten the next one with a butthole so tight they couldn't have seen straight and screwed up the next play. Tua just went out with that Samoan Hawaiian freaking swagger and did a spin move. And yeah, a lot of credit goes to Devontae running a 4 flat and getting wide ass open. But no, I think that's a moment where Tua showed what he kind of had between the ears as far as the leader. So, but it was a coming age for both. But
that showed that you still had to deal with Judy, Ruggs, all them caught touchdowns.
Yeah,
I don't know if Judy did that game, but I know Ruggs, Ridley, Devontae.
But they was all true freshmen.
Yes,
and Najee Harris broke like a 35-yard run that game too.
Mm-hmm.
Our freshman owned Georgia. Freshman owned Georgia. Last year, Xavier Brown. Our freshman owned Georgia. Ryan Williams,
177.
I'm just saying, our freshman owned Georgia.
Yeah.
2015, Calvin Ridley.
Our freshman owned Georgia.
Lou, can't you kind of just sum it up?
2012, Amari Cooper.
Alabama owns Georgia.
I mean, I don't want to put it out there, but we do. We go into Georgia and basically do what we want.
No, y'all know what's
crazy.
Listen. 2008, Julio. 2012, Amari Cooper. 2015, Calvin Ridley. 2017, Tua, Devontae, and Ruggs.
You want to break a team's will?
18, Waddle. It's in Atlanta. Waddle.
Jameson Williams.
Waddle. Jameson Williams.
You brought the will was broken when Georgia kind of got the bravado and said we're gonna wear black jerseys against Bama.
Yeah, they don't even wear them.
Shut out.
I ain't seen Georgia in a black jersey in a grip.
They don't even wear them no more.
Well, it broke them. That broke Georgia. They had all that bravado, and it was like when USC came out barking and crawling and shit, and then they realized
Alabama
don't play that shit.
Before we move to the next topic, because I've been just seeing this replayed. That dude from Boston College that plays for Florida State, I just want to like
Castellanos.
I just like
he's in
why trouble. Like why would you do that? Like
why'd you poke the bear?
It's not even poking the bear at this point. Like Bama don't need no rat poison. We was already gonna mess y'all up because you talk shit about us in the playoffs, getting in the playoffs over y'all bum team. But the fact that you want to come out halfway through the summer and start running your suck about a position that you might not even be in come the season. I mean, we just ain't gonna put hands on you. We like, in the words of Julius Campbell from Remember the Titans, you better make yourself on that ground real comfortable, real damn comfortable. Because I can promise you, they're gonna be crimson on your ass, full Diddy, all 4 quarters, young man. Because that's not even that's disrespectful on a whole new level.
And to your point, Lou, Malzahn's the OC, so he likes to run his quarterback anyway. So that's gonna be like they're gonna be coming for real, which is crazy. So, and he's not.
And
like
we just got some.
He's not like a 6'5", 6'6" Cam Newton running Gus's offense. Like this guy's what 5'8", 5'9". Now he's quick, I give him that, but
he's scrappy.
He's quick at Boston College. This is the SEC, scrappy. My guy.
I think he's about smaller than Stetson, ain't he?
I think so. I think he's like 5'6" or something like that.
He said 5'6".
5'6". What is he, Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise short like
freaking,
that.
Like, damn, bro. Like, I just listen, man. Our defensive line, I want to see LT Overton just like first play of the game, either LT or whichever one of our inside linebackers is thumping. I want to see one of those two just first play of the game. Just unnecessary roughness, just pile drive that into the ground and just let him know. Just let him know all damn night. That's all, man. Because that's going. You just basically gave us a script to start our season, kicking your ass.
Yeah,
but as you wish.
Well, listen, guys. Speaking of, let's get to our next sponsor. Let's get to Title Towel. Go and get you an amazing title towel at wetwillsports.com. It is one of the unofficial Crimson, the official towel for Alabama sports here on the final whistle. Pride and purpose, amazing. The Whitwill Sports original. Go to wetwillsports.com and get you an amazing Crimson title towel. Use the promo code STANDARD and get you one. So, guys, speaking of Alabama, speaking of runs, speaking of other schools, and I want to say this, Alabama's on a recruiting heater right now. And I love how whenever Alabama's doing something really good, I love how it makes all the other schools feel like come up with all these crazy narratives in their heads of why Alabama's so successful. It went from, oh, Bama's not going to be the same anymore to now Bama's being dominant. Like, which one is it? Like, don't y'all have your own program, aka Georgia fans? Like, y'all know more about our school than anything. Like, I don't understand, like, obviously, what is it about Alabama? Because Alabama is still the standard, still the brand. We've got Edwards, the big-time safety, C.D. Morgan, Crowell, Xavier Griffin, Jordan Edmonds. I think we lead the country in 5 stars. Lou, talk about how Alabama is just recruiting and going crazy. And Petty, you'll go next regarding Alabama looking crazy in the recruiting rankings right now.
So they've recently made a surge based off this late run that they had, just like they made a late run last season when it came to recruiting. Now, everybody's going to say that, oh, well, they have Nick Saban. He's got to be recruiting for him now. He's not coaching, but he's behind the scenes recruiting. Well, I'm here to go ahead and say that's not the case. We've had several 5 stars and several other recruits, parents that have come out on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call that platform, saying that Nick Saban did not even talk to them, that it was Kalen DeBoer, Courtney Morgan, and their staff that recruited him and got them to sign with the University of Alabama. The ironic thing is who they're really going after, who they're hunting. Alabama's recent recruiting class and this one, the 2025 and the 2026 classes, are starting to look and almost mirror the first 2 recruiting classes that Saban had. And I'm talking like to the freaking position, like a 5-star wide receiver, a top wide receiver in the country, a top running back in the country, a 5-star safety, a 5-star corner. Starting to sound a little familiar because we just signed all that. It's starting to be like, oh, people are starting to really get that thought that they had in their head the last 2 decades that they really thought was over, that it just might have went dormant for a year or 2, but it might just be coming back, and it might be coming back on a whole new level because we're recruiting the effective players, the people that are actually going to have an impact. We're not just going after the big names. We're also hunting character. Kalen DeBoer and Courtney Morgan are doing research and evaluating these players. Like, all of a sudden, you're going to see just some people pop up. Like Courtney Morgan said, they're not done recruiting. They feel like they're in a great position going into the rest of the season, and they're in a punching battle with anybody. And the way we've been going, I mean, you gotta give us a punching shot against anybody, especially as the season moves on and people get to actually see what the Kalen DeBoer's Alabama system is really like.
I agree. Petty, what are you so impressed about this staff or just this class so far? What impresses you? And I'll piggyback off what you say about this topic.
And it's kind of echo a little bit of what you say. Why is everybody so up on Alabama? And I think it's because everybody was trying to write the obituary for Alabama last year because they didn't make the playoffs in DeBoer's first year. And, kind of dancing like, all right, it really is over the Saban. And then all of a sudden 1 year later, and, we on this very show a year ago, you can go back and find the footage. We talked about Courtney Morgan, what a dynamic recruiter and how he was going to be the secret sauce to this. Well, I mean, you come into a program that's half the players are transferring out, half are asking for money. Then you got to transfer kids in. You're building all these relationships. So it's not going to happen in 24 hours. But you're seeing a year later, Courtney Morgan's already rolled up his sleeves in this staff and what DeBoer is able to do and sell. And I think that's why everybody's paying attention because they're like, holy shit, it hadn't gone away. And I think, me and Luke talked about this. What's caught my eye is the size, the length of these kids. This looks like Saban's early recruiting classes where every player fits this mold of physical freak. The corners are 6'2", the wide receivers are 6'4", the linebackers are all 220 range, but all 6'2", 6'3". It's a different looking kid. And I don't think people expected DeBoer, he's going to come to the South and not recruit. And here he is doing it. And again, it's a testament. And not to look, we don't need to minimize this as it goes. It was the greatest era in college football. But the Saban dynasty was just that. It was a dynasty within a dynasty. Bama's always been able to get top talent in college football. And now I think it's just a testament to DeBoer being the next step and being able to build off of that. And people are believing in the vision he's got. And again, when you talk about believing in the vision, Courtney Morgan is a guy that left his alma mater to follow this guy all over the country. There's a reason, man. They believe in what each other's doing. And you're seeing that come to fruition. And they're selling, when you're selling steak, it's easy to sell, filet mignon versus a hard steak. But some people can still do it because they can butcher it up and nice it up and make it look good. But now you're selling filet mignon. It's pretty easy to do. And that's what's going on.
I agree. And what's impressive to me, great points, Dan, Petty, and Lou. What's so impressive to me is how strategic Alabama are in their evaluations. Like, to me, they are second to none. I think what's more impressive to me are obviously the 5 stars, the 4 stars, but those 3 stars who I think have so much upside. The safety, Kelly out of Ohio, like, this kid to me is severely underrated. Like, their evaluations on kids, what they're looking up for, what they're looking at, to me, I think they're finding diamonds in the rough, and they're just putting together a complete master class when it comes to putting together a class. Now, we got a lot of holes to fill. Like, we still got to get some offensive line targets, things like that, but I know Courtney Morgan gets a lot of the praise. DeBoer is doing his thing, but I want to just kudos to this staff. Mo Linguist, Freddie Roach, Chuck, the linebackers coach,
Maria,
Coach Cap, like, their evaluations and their relationships and being able to close Coach Shepard with these receivers. I mean, it is unreal.
Christian Robinson.
Yeah, Christian Robinson. To me, this is what I believe Greg Burns saw in the vision of having Kalen DeBoer at the University of Alabama with the Courtney Morgan to kind of set his own legacy in recruiting. And it's just, as an Alabama fan, it just makes us feel so good. And I think we got the right guy leading us in the future. Chris, I know you had to step away for a second. Just give us your take on, just what's impressing you or maybe some recruits that we, need to hone in to really close out this class.
Okay. Well, Alabama, let me tell you about Alabama. Like Petty said, Alabama has always been a school that's recruited well. Even the recruiting class way back in 2000 when I came in, we were the 3rd ranked class in the country. We had the number 1 player in the country, Apple Means. So we had a little dip under Coach Shula, but Franchione even recruited well. Roman Harper, Charlie Pepper, D'Amico Ryans, Tyrone Prothro. Prothro was a like a 3-star. Wasn't that a guy that
D'Amico was a 3-star.
Yeah, D'Amico. Yeah, McAdale.
Fellas.
Yeah, McAdale out of Macador.
McAdale was 4-star.
I was 6. I'm not gonna tell you what type of star I was.
No, I'm talking about
it's not
how
10 o'clock
well.
yet.
I'm talking about how well he.
Not after hours.
He's so crazy. I'm talking about how well they recruited. You had McAdale. You bought in we bought in some studs, man. You bought in Ken Darby. Ramsey, all these guys played pro ball winning the camp. Bino Robinson. So we weren't Anthony Madison. I mean, we weren't never hurting at Bama. We had a little dip, but that just goes to show you when you have a sleeping giant. Well, we never. I wouldn't say a sleeping giant, but when you have a big time program and somebody that comes in to boost that. All right, for example, like when Urban Meyer went to Ohio State. Ohio State was a brand name, but when Urban Meyer got there, he took it to another level. Pete Carroll, USC.
Yeah, he beat Michigan, Chris. he beat his rival.
Pete Carroll at USC. You know what I'm saying? So when we got Courtney Morgan, now he's the guy that people don't understand. It's kind of like the mastermind. He was the guy that helped build that Michigan roster. Remember those D linemen we couldn't block? He was the one that got the Mason Graham and those guys. He was the one that got those guys there. And it's like Bama, they're always gonna be, a threat in the recruiting world. Just off the history, even before Coach Saban, we still had the most national titles than any other program in the history. We won one every decade, except for the 50s and the 80s. I think those were the only 2 decades Alabama has never won a national championship. It may have been the 40s or 50s. It was one of them in the 80s. Only 2 decades now since the 1920s when over 100 years ago. Only 2 decades we didn't win a national championship in. How many other teams can say that?
None.
Yeah, and it's the Alabama brand. These other schools, these other fan bases wish they had Alabama's brand.
Speaking of, I love good smack talk with Chris Williams, our Auburn buddy, so good at it. But I'm gonna have to talk, and I guess the language of the screen name, pimp name, slip back. If I was B Powder from How High, I'd fill my hand with powder and slap your ass across the face for that weak ass smack game you got. Look, buddy. We love that you're here, but you're going to have to bring it a little better. Your team lost 10 games last year. You brought in DJ Ukulele. It's kind of a trash show right now. So, look, we love you, Florida State. But Deion Sanders ain't walking through that door. Charlie Ward ain't walking through that door. Derek Brooks ain't walking through that door. So, until you don't miss one ride right or wide left or whatever, get better with your smack talk, buddy. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Y'all go.
I bet it would eat.
We got a Florida State fan in here?
Yes,
we got a couple of them.
Name Slick back. That's why I had to go B Powder. I had to go a little how.
Really?
You got Panama Jack.
Hey, I'd like to know how was that Boston College loss last year?
Boston College? Boy, you can name for days. Hey,
Boston College, Georgia Tech. Like,
if you flip Florida
State, they beat?
If you flip Florida State's record around, they'll be a playoff team.
They're just still sad that they want the SEC. We won't let them in. Keep holding them like the little midget at bay. Like, yeah, keep swinging, little buddy.
But I want to say something else. I'm going to bring it back to recruiting. Another thing I'm impressed with is Alabama only has 19 commitments. They're the only team that has, 4 or 5 stars. But everybody else in the top 5 have 5 stars. Everybody else in the top 5 have like the top 2, Georgia and USC, have like 30, 31 commitments. Like, who is in this day and age, who's signing 31 some commit? So to me, those are more. I'm more impressed by Alabama's numbers, but I only have 19 commitments and
I have
still
a
be the
question.
number 3 ranked
Tank
team.
Jones coming. He's going to be the 6th one.
Hey, before and possibly Cooper too. But I got a question. How is USC recruiting all these players? What they're definitely buying them. You can't say, "Hey, come to USC, we win football games. Hey, come to USC, we make the playoffs. Hey, come to USC, we beat teams in the Big Ten," because you don't. So the fact that they got 30 some odd recruits right now, all that means is they're going to have one hell of awakening when their season starts to suck and flipping season 2.0 starts coming in.
But think about it though, USC has never done bad in recruiting. It's just been coaching, development.
Yeah, but if but they haven't been relevant since what, Matt Leinart?
No,
realistically,
probably Matt Barkley.
Come on, man.
Yeah, like 2008 when they had those Samoan guys on the defense. Malagu, what's his name? All those guys. Like
I don't know. I'll give it to Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll, yeah. Like 07.
That's what I'm saying. Pete Carroll was the last one. And that was how long ago? Shit, he's a Razor coach right now.
About 15,
That's how
16,
long ago that was.
Years ago. About 15 years ago.
Most of our recruits weren't even alive then.
But yeah, man. But I just feel like we closed out strong on the O line. We need a tackle. I know we need a tackle, but we closed out strong and I think we may be saving spots for the portal. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of folks, I was like, well, we're not going to hit it in recruiting. We're just going to get it on out the portal. And I think that's what
we also signed 3 tackles last year in last year's class.
Yeah, we got a lot of depth.
Mm-hmm.
We signed a lot of tackles.
Yeah. Well, Lord. Well, you remember what's all in decommitted now? Hayward.
I'm not talking. Well, yeah, but I'm not even talking about him. I'm talking about Carroll kicked out there for a little bit. They were talking about Jackson Lloyd and Micah DeBoer.
Yeah, DeBoer's gonna be a guard. He's a big. You see how big that kid is, man. That kid is huge. Oh yeah, then the year before we had Olaus, Ailenine, and all those guys.
Nah, he was 2 years ago.
I'm saying he was with Bromby, right? Formby.
Yeah, he was with Bromby and Proctor. He's a junior.
So it's a gap in between them. Who was in that class?
Yeah.
Well, who was in that 2 years?
That would have been Ionata, Casey Poe, and
Casey Poe.
Big Willie. What's his name?
Yeah, we got dude Sanders, William Sanders.
Yeah, Willie Sanders. Yes, we got
stash so petty. Like that's what I'm saying. Like those guys are sticking around, man. We got to keep in mind we were like in awe of these guys, and then people be like, "Well, how does Bama keep doing it?" Because we get these guys that we're all in, and we get them and sit them and give them time to develop and wait their turn, and then when their turn comes,
they come in a little boy, and by the time we put them on the field, they're about 6'5", 350, a solid freaking man moving rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
all right, guys. Well, Bama's recruiting's on the heater. Bama's still the standard, so deal with it, guys. So let's move to our next topic. 2025 National Contenders. Who will submit the playoff mountain? I think Clemson's gonna make a pretty deep run. I hate to say it, out of the ACC. I think they're gonna come out of the ACC. I don't know who's behind them in the ACC. I don't know about the whole SMU thing. I don't know if they're fluke.
It may be Miami.
Yeah, I have to see it from Miami. I definitely don't see Belichick and the 24-year-old wifey making the playoff run. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know about the ACC. But the SEC, I definitely see.
You name the one, Clemson. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, wait, did you not name Florida State? Oh no, because they suck. All right, got it.
I definitely see in the SEC. I definitely see SEC getting like 4 teams. Bama, Georgia. I don't know. I'm kind of
Quarterback. I'm still trying to see Gunner
I'm
Stockton.
still trying to figure out on Georgia. Maybe South Carolina, maybe LSU. LSU still got to do their offensive line.
Definitely Texas.
And Texas. Definitely Texas. I think Texas with their schedule. Texas got like 4 or 5 games where they play like East Texas High School. So they're automatically going to be in. They only have to play at Georgia. Obviously Oklahoma. They got a pretty easy schedule. I want to get y'all's take who you, and that's I just stopped right there. SEC, ACC. I can't. Obviously, Ohio State, probably Michigan, maybe Penn State, probably get up in there.
Man, James Franklin, he's got to do it.
Still got Oregon.
Oregon's the one
I mean, because they got a good coach. They got Landon, man. Or at least they're aware of coach, and they still get good recruits. So, I mean, as long as they're out there, they're going to be in the conversation. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but as far as playoff, they're going to be in the conversation. Oregon, Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, the same suspects in the Big 10. Big 10, the Big 12.
You mean the Cookie Brigade?
Yeah, the Big 12. I honestly have no clue of who maybe Utah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I got some offensive linemen. I don't even know who's in the Big 12. So that's
Utah, BYU, all of those guys. It's UCF and TCU and Kansas, K-State maybe.
Texas Tech spending money. They're the ones that have gone all Ole Miss in the portal over there.
Yeah, they're spending money.
So, but as far as go ahead, Lou.
Y'all missed one unless I.
No, I mean I didn't hear Notre Dame being mentioned.
Yeah, Notre Dame.
I'm sorry, I didn't
say Petty.
Well, and I wanted to jump on it because I've spent the last 2 decades, lifting my leg on Notre Dame because I don't feel like every time they get in the playoffs, they just get manhandled. And I feel like they get propped up because of weak schedules. I'll be honest, man. I think Freeman's changed the stripes. That team, me and Lou have talked about this. That Notre Dame team showed some damn grit in the playoffs last year, and it was emblematic of their coach. And I think that program looks a little different than it did when Bama beat them like a bunch of little bitches.
They keep the mutts around, so that made me smile.
Man says he still lifted his leg on that. That's fine. Lift them on the Golden Domers. The hell with them. But they showed a little grit last year.
But I'm going. I think that the national championship this year may be 2 SEC teams.
Could be. Who you got? Texas, Bama?
I got Texas, Bama. I think
I got an old one. Bama, Clemson.
I can see that one too. No, I can't.
I can see that one too.
No. I can't do another Bama Clemson national.
But look though, and if Michigan's quarterback situation turns out to be solid, because they just I don't know what it is, man. Those guys just
Courtney Morgan.
Problem for Clemson is they're going to play that high school schedule and get in the playoffs and have to play a real team, and it might.
That's exactly. They're going to have a cupcake schedule, and they're going to have to face a gritty SEC team that clawed their way in the playoffs and get their doors blown off freaking game 1.
But hey, but
I can say that.
But see the 2 teams that is riding on their quarterback is South Carolina with Sellers and Austin Simmons at Ole Miss. Because if those 2 boys can play to what I think they're capable of, they're going to be very dangerous. They're going to be very dangerous. And I think Simmons, I just think so high. I think Simmons is like Tua-ish.
Tua.
I do think, and y'all know I'm pausing on Ole Miss because they just look. In a year where they had the number 1 scoring offense in the SEC and the number 1 scoring defense and put more guys in the NFL than in program history, they didn't make the playoffs. They've got a lot of young guys to replace what did that last year. So the one thing is maybe the pressure won't be on them and they don't shit themselves at Kentucky and they win the games they're supposed to win because that's what bit them last year. They
didn't play Bama.
They beat Georgia. They beat the big boys, but then they played Florida, who was down, lost to Kentucky at home, and that's what cost them the season. But when you're replacing 4 defensive linemen that go in the NFL draft, and I'm with you. I think Simmons is special. But go, Lou. You got the finger up. I'll shut up.
Guys, in the words of a great sportscaster, give me Alabama. And I'm going to tell you why. We are the only school with top ranks at every position, minus the edge. We got top safeties. We got top cornerback. We got top offensive line. We got top receivers.
Top running back.
We got top linebackers.
Top quarterback.
Like, we're the only team. Well, apparently from the Manning Passing Academy, they said he had the 3rd best arm there. So I'm not so sure about that. And pretty much if what the Manning's camp is saying that if Ty's that good, we have to take the kind of hype that everyone has around Arch Manning that he's that good, right? Because he ain't done shit in college football, but everyone's saying he's amazing from the Manning camp, right? So if they're saying Ty had the 3rd best arm, then Ty Simpson must be pretty damn good.
Let's say he had the better arm than Ty.
Their logic. That's all I'm saying.
What, Lou, pause right there. Who was number 2 then? If Archie Manning was number 1.
I think that either Klubnik or that kid from that weird name kid that Kelly dances around with at LSU.
Nussmeier?
Yeah, whatever his name
I'm
is.
telling you, man, people sleeping on Ty. They're going to look in this grub offense at the end of the year in Alabama. He's going to be one of the top 3 stat quarterbacks in the SEC.
I think Ty is going to have a lot of people compare his situation to Jake Coker's situation, but I think he's going to have more of an AJ McCarron type season.
I think he's going to have a Joe Burrow.
Nope. He gonna have a Mac Jones because think of all the
Joe Burrow, same kind of season.
No, I'm not ever gonna compare our team to anybody, especially a damn Tiger. Mac Jones, because Mac Jones had the deep running backs. He had 2-3 running backs in his stable. LSU, I'm pretty sure, only had 1. We had ultimate weapons at tight end. We're going to have weapons at tight end. People are sleeping on our tight end room. They're all going to be enamored by what we got a receiver. They're not even going to realize Grubb likes to utilize that tight end a lot. And we got a lot of guys. I mean, we just signed like 2 or 3 in the portal. Chris, stay with me here, brother. We're almost there. We're almost there. But we signed so many freaking people in the transfer portal offensively. Just think about it. The tight ends, a running back, Isaiah Horton, a wide receiver. He is going to have more weapons than probably any other quarterback y'all just named because they only had a couple people to distribute the ball. Ty Simpson's got guys that literally every time they touch the ball, a highlight could happen. I'm not sure anybody outside of Tua we can really say that for. That has had weapons literally everywhere he looked. But even Tua didn't have the weapons that Ty Simpson's going to have because Ty Simpson's got 6'4" receiver. He got a 6'5" receiver possibly, a couple 6'2" guys. Like, he's got height difference that Alabama hasn't had since Julio. You add a height difference into the star power, what we have, guys. What defense is going to be able to stick with that? I know everyone's going, Georgia. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we've got the best players out of Georgia the last couple of years, so that ain't going to be the case. So it's going to be.
Can I piggyback when you mentioned Georgia? I love how Georgia. They think they're such a rival for Alabama. Alabama never righteously viewed Georgia as a rivalry. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Alabama views Auburn, Tennessee, LSU, mainly as rivals. Like, nobody really thought about Georgia as a rival. I think that's more in their head more so than ours.
But I don't even view LSU as
their whole state than they do.
LSU ain't a
rival, or is that just because they've been the biggest game the last decade or two? But
I'm just going off who's ever on Dixieland Delight. That's all I'm saying.
If you make Dixieland Delight,
you're a rival.
I'm glad you didn't say yay Alabama, because then we'd have to be talking about damn Georgia Tech. So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interject.
No, I don't.
But
no,
when
I don't
you
think
mention
Georgia.
it's just like, okay, guys, we know y'all want to be us so bad. Like, it's crazy. But anyway.
As far as I'm concerned, there's really only one rivalry we have. There's only one team that I hate with a passion. Because Auburn, we just beat them. No matter what they do, no matter what wing position they're in, they lose to us. Like it took some pretty crazy shit for them to beat us. But Tennessee will be forever the most. That's just disgusting. They're just bad people. There's bad people there. I'll go out on a limb and say it. They're bad people.
Anybody from the Pac-12? We got any contenders? No.
They have 2 teams. So
who's still in the Pac-12?
Oregon
Washington,
State and
Arizona.
Washington State, maybe. Oregon State,
Arizona State, and Washington State.
Now Sacramento
If they
State's
get-
trying to get into it.
What about UCLA? No, they're in the Big Ten.
No,
Right?
they're in
They're
the
in the
Big
Big Ten. I don't know how that makes sense, but
Just go back to the old way of college football, please. The conferences, make it easier. But guys, I want to get y'all comments. Get in the chat. Let us know who is who you think got a national title contenders. So Patty, Daniel, Patty, Chris, Lou. Let's get to our Q&A if we got it. If you got some interesting questions and answers we can get to.
Trying to get.
Chris played with Dennis and Derek DeBoer.
He's not his head. Any
My boys. Dennis DeBoer and Derek DeBoer.
Oh, good questions from Joe Abrams. I'm gonna let Lou and Chris talk about is Nick
I
Abrams.
was just on a show with the kid.
For real.
I just talked to him for an hour and a half.
Do you think he's a lock, Petty, or?
I think Bama's really in it. I'll say this: he's a really he's a really intelligent kid. He's very smart. He's really understands the process. He understands the history. He knows in depth about what each coach brings, and there's obviously a trend with who he's looking at. He's down to Georgia, Bama, Oregon, and Michigan, and it's all defenses that are really, really strong around the linebacker. I don't know. Again, he didn't tell. He gave no tell. So this isn't, he told us or whatever. I think it's going to come down to, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is Michigan or Oregon, but I think it comes down to Bama or Georgia for the kid. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if it's a Bama lock. I know Georgia
feels confident.
Georgia has its interest. But I think there's things about both of the programs that really intrigue him, and the chance to play against the best and the chance to play in the SEC. Again, I'm on the fence. I kind of got some vibes one way, but I don't know. I could be an idiot and paid too much attention to one set of the verbiage than the other. But again, I do think it's going to be between Bama and Georgia. Watch him end up at Oregon. I may be a big dumbass, but he really had a lot of. He went deep into Womack's defense, and he went deep into Kirby Smart and the position coaches at Georgia. So it felt like he was really in tune with what was going on down at these two schools.
The keg defense at Georgia. Ooh.
Well, the offer at Georgia is no speeding. You get unlimited speeding ticket passes. I will say one of the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was going to say one of the.
I just want to interject this real quick on the kid. The one thing that I think is probably if Alabama does win, it's going to not only be the brotherhood, but it will be the culture at the university. I get the vibes and have been getting the vibes for some time now that UGA just isn't really a place a lot of people want to be. Like, yeah, they got a good football team, but other than that, there really isn't a lot going on there. And you can tell by the players' behavior, like that's not really maybe a locker room a lot of people don't want to put their sons in. So, yeah, you got Kirby Smart, but at the same time, Kirby Smart's letting his players go out and just do whatever the hell they want and getting in all this trouble. That ain't happening in Alabama.
To your point, Lou, one of the first things he mentioned about Alabama was the noticeable brotherhood between the team. He did appreciate that aspect of it. Man, so I don't know. I tell you what, the kid's got a hell of a head on his shoulders. He's a bright kid.
Got another one.
Bob Adam, Lou, I'm gonna let you answer this one. Can Nolan Wilson play D tackle if he gained weight like Jeremiah Bingham?
He could, but I see him more just being like probably like a James Smith, being able to go between defensive end and defensive tackle, not actually be a true nose. I like him more in like a James Smith type of role rather than like a nose guard like Beeman and Tim Keenan. I don't think he needs to put that weight on. Because that'd be a lot. That'd be a significant. He could put on 20, 25 pounds. That's not a big deal. But putting on the weight, he need to be 300 plus. That's a big ask. Then to keep his athletic ability. Plus, I think they got him to fit Womack's scheme as the defensive end and defensive tackle position.
You're right. I get excited. I know the last one didn't work out the way we wanted with Otis, but generally when Alabama dips into the Mississippi waters for defensive tackle, it works out pretty well.
Is that it?
I agree.
I agree. One more. Was there someone wanting an update on Emmanuel? Or
hold on,
I started. I think it was 5.
There you go.
He says, please update Manuel Ruffin, Ohio State, recruiting him. I think he's good. He is defensive end or D tackle. I think it's between Ohio State and who else? For Ruffin?
LSU. Pretty sure.
But did Dan mention it was a knock on him? Maybe his athleticism might not be where
the in-state kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it said that Auburn and Alabama they viewed him like he wasn't as athletically explosive like those other guys, like the Finches and those other guys.
Kamari Johnson.
He'll end up going elsewhere out of state. Kamari Johnson is just
his tape is man, and what he did in Rivals 1-on-1s, he was just unreal.
The kid out of Georgia, the edge out of Georgia, that transferred from Sparkman to Gainesville.
Jamarion
Matthews is Matthews.
Yeah, Jamarion Matthews.
Oh my God, man! Y'all talk about the next Will Anderson. Go do yourself a favor and watch his film, his junior film.
With him and Griffin.
Yeah, imagine all them put together, and then the secondary with that, and just say if Jared Edwards pulls his buddy in just for kicks and giggles, and we sign one of the top athletes just because we can, because we only got 19 recruits, and because we got the room. Why not? I mean,
what?
And where's the Will Anderson? Why not Bama?
Why not Bama? Lou and Petty, speaking of Edwards and Derek Cooper, what are they looking at Derek Cooper at Alabama for? What position? I know he's an ATH, but
I think he's a safety. They're looking at him as safety. I mean, he's a hell of a running back. Don't get me wrong. And the kid's got game breaking speed. Back,
but we are signed too.
Huh?
We signed too.
They got him listed as safety.
But we're done that. We're done that in the secondary because that kid that committed this Stanford yesterday, he would have been at Bama if we would have taken one more. Lasai Jackson.
Yeah, but you really think they're not going to take a 5-star?
No, what I'm saying is if he comes to Bama, he can play running back. They don't. He's stockpiling like Harvey's good. The kid out of Florida, the kid we just flipped from Illinois. But if you get a Derek Cooper and Derek Cooper's gonna play Crowell, he's gonna play running back. Like that's you get what I'm saying, Luke? Because he's so dang good at running back. Like you just don't put him nowhere else.
Yeah, but have you seen him as a safety though? Him and Jared Edwards would be the scariest thing. That's a freaking like.
God, why is his name escaping me? It reminds me of the kid that signed with Tennessee, that Kiffin signed with Tennessee. That was the 5-star. They ended up. God, that played safety and running back. That was so man. This kid. I don't know, man. Where do you? I'm with you though. The safety, the DB room's getting stacked, but
they're loaded at safety. We must be anticipating a big transfer portal class coming
Not
in.
necessarily. We gonna handpick because you gotta understand we're not losing. We're not a senior heavy team. We're not a junior. Like we got a lot of young guys, so we're limited at spots right now. So, we're just kind of like a plug and play. And think about it, they're not wasting scholarships in the days of this NIL. They're not just wasting money anymore. They're gonna handpick this roster and be strategic with it, as opposed to just trying to fill a spot just to fill a spot because you got a spot. Those days are over.
Yeah. Well, I think Alabama's doing it the right way, being strategic, pinpointing their targets, going after these guys. There was something else I was going to ask. Tank Jones must get for us, right, to finish out this class?
Yeah, he coming to Bama.
Yeah, I think he comes to Bama. I think this class is gonna be with that. He wraps it up with Tank Jones, and we don't even need another surprise. But if he wraps it up with Tank Jones, this is gonna be very, very, very close in relation to what Saban did his first couple years, as far as recruiting, as far as star power, as far as effectively evaluating talent. Because these kids that are coming in, they're not just hungry. They are already preparing to be able to play early. And the fact that they're doing that, they already have the mindset. See, back in the day, a lot of players didn't have this kind of business-like mentality. And it's kind of been for the good of college football, and it's also been for the bad, depending on the player. Kalen DeBoer and Courtney Morgan are identifying the players that they can get the good out of. The good attitudes, the people that want to be in class, and the people that want to learn.
Not deep.
They're doing all that.
Jones and Abrams gonna wrap up the defensive side of the ball. And
people like Matt Caddell went straight from the football field to the school to his dorm and to sleep.
That's what I did.
Hey, that's what we really did in camp, though. Camp practice used to be so brutal, man. Like we have that early practice match, especially those days we had 2 a days, and then we had that early practice and that late practice. Like we'll go back to the dorm after we ate lunch.
Don't get me started about camp.
So those were the days Matt would sneak people into the practice facility because he couldn't make it back to Rose.
He's so crazy. No, they had to stay in Parham. What they had us at, Matt? Parham and Burt.
That's Chris.
Now we was in Parham. Dude, like we slept. Like other guys would be up there playing NCAA and stuff. Dude, we slept. Like
you thought Matt was sleeping.
That's Chris. Chris was sleeping.
You know I was sleeping. Y'all already know.
I ain't gonna say. Is it past 10 o'clock? Oh, it is. Okay.
We're going after dark now.
Final whistle after dark. That starts at 11.
Final whistle after dark.
We call this the Rose Tower sessions.
That's what we'll call it, Rose Towers.
Final whistle Rose Tower sessions.
All right, guys.
The closeted files.
The closet files. Well, listen, guys, follow us. Listen, you can see all our handles at the bottom.
Follow us.
Follow us. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up wherever. Lou, anything you want to add to close out the show?
Yeah, like and subscribe, guys. Share. We are almost to our goal. We need about 300 subscribers to get us to where we need to be. 350. Help us out, guys. Bring a friend. Share it. Tell your girlfriends. Tell your wives. They watch football too. We can educate everybody. Everybody's an Alabama football fan, so you might as well have them tune in. And plus, if they come here, we'll teach them something. They're not going to be as annoying and asking you so many stupid-ass questions during the greatest time of the year.
We're going to ask them, everybody, to bring 5 people, just 5. 5 Bama fans,
people.
That you know, or college football fans.
Everybody just bring 5 Bama fans, because I'm telling you, we got some great things coming down the wheelhouse, especially this fall. As we've freaking discussed, these 2 guys to my right, or other way, right over here, unofficial GM is greenlit and ready to go. It's in the process. These 2 are ready. It's going to be hot. We got something else me and Daniel Petty are working on for Saturday morning. It's going to be, I think we actually have a little bit more of a time frame on that. It's going to go from about 8:30 in the morning to 11. It's going to be a lot of exciting different things. Stay tuned. In the future, I'm going to come out with more. There's graphics coming. So everybody stay tuned. And most importantly, Matt, take us out.
Stay tuned. Same time, same channel. Hit us up. All the Florida State fans, hit that like, subscribe button. All them Georgia fans, all them Auburn fans, y'all might as well come in here and talk your trash. But
hey,
like the end of those, huh?
If we got any podcasters that are in the audience right now that want to mix it up with some of us on the final whistle, we are more than happy to take you guys on. So hit us up on the Twitter, hit us up on Instagram, Facebook. We're more than happy to oblige. We love to talk football.
The Final Whistle Network is hiring.
Slide into Chris's DMs, he'll slide back.
Oh, Chris will definitely slide.
He gonna slide. Well, listen, all y'all fans, we like to end on those two words. Not the final
Tide.
Roll freaking tide, baby.
Roll dadgum tide. And this is a serious message. If you're driving in Georgia, please slow down.